made a crazy risk, a gamble, and it's about to pay off.
So I want the Celtics to cover. I want the Celtics halftime. I want Garnett points and rebounds.
What do you know?
I don't know. I just know.
On the internet, I often play the game, Is It Real? Basically, I'll find some crazy stuff and try to determine if it's a troll or serious. You can actually see we've done it a couple times on the channel before, and I'd like to think I'm pretty good at it. And most of the time, it's pretty easy too.
We'll catch ourselves a leprechaun using these lucky charms as bait.
However, sometimes I get stumped. Sometimes I see something like we're about to see today where it really tests my limits of disbelief. Is this a parody or is this serious? Even some of the most experienced internet minds get stumped sometimes, and sometimes only the creators know, which is where we begin today. This video was originally going to be about religious children's shows, and when it comes to religious edutainment, you have VeggieTales and then everything else. The problem with religious edutainment is you have to balance three things: education, religion, and entertainment. Not to say it's not possible, but a lot of the time it's a very narrow creative lens. To pull it off, you either have to be very creative or completely ridiculous. The second one is by far more interesting, which is where we are today. Now I want to warn you, when I found this, my jaw hit the floor. This little gem called Fiveish. It's a show claimed to be created by a Jewish educational organization. Now you say, how is this ridiculous? Well, let me explain the premise, because this is one of the most unreal things I have seen in my entire life. Fiveish is a Jewish educational show aimed at children in order to teach them about their culture and customs. Okay, all good so far. But the twist is, they have a mascot.
Come to the world of Fiveish. Say hello, meet everyone. Come and learn with Fiveish.
Join us!
So much fun.
The main mascot of this show is money. I am not joking. Let me emphasize this further. It is a Jewish educational show where the main character is money. I'm not kidding when I said my fucking jaw hit the floor when I found this. I have a better idea for a mascot, for a show aimed at Jewish children. Literally anything except this. Imagine an Irish educational show where the main character is an anthropomorphic bottle of whiskey. I think it's that same level of awful. Now, if you thought the premise was bad, trust me, it gets worse. How about this classic bit where Fiveish is talking on the phone with somebody?
When it hits $40, just dump it all. Just dump it all. Sell it.
Well, you're right, Donnie.
I'm legitimately speechless.
Well, why don't you just go remind him who put him in office? Okay.
I am honestly, I have nothing to say. I am completely lost for words. Or this other classic bit where Fiveish is taking a flight to Israel, and there's an Arab man in front of him, holding a fake gun, but a gun nonetheless, and he just walks through. Meanwhile, Fiveish gets stopped for having a menorah. I don't even want to talk about the implications here. So if you haven't figured it out yet by watching, Fiveish is basically Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems.
Well, I'll tell you what I know. That's the dumbest fucking bet I ever heard of.
I disagree.
No word of a lie when I found this. I was truly blown away. I find myself, it is very rare that I am completely speechless. And this was one of those times. So if you're like me, your first thought was this was created by somebody who could not see very well, if you get what I'm putting down, just because of the absurd level of offensiveness. But let me tell you, if that was the case, I would not be making this video, because the Fiveish paradigm goes much deeper than that. So I did a little digging on this claim, which led me to a huge rabbit hole. Step one was to figure out who this show was created by. Was it created by an actual anti-Semitic lunatic? Or was it created by who it was claimed to be created by? A Jewish educational group? Well, if you watch the show, you'd assume the former. Either that or it was a Tim and Eric sketch. Or what's that guy's name? I can't remember it right now. Especially with moments like this.
Kenny, they're gonna hurt you! Kenny's gonna hurt you!
Well, believe it or not, Fiveish is the property of URA, a non-profit Jewish organization whose goal is to provide education about Jewish history, traditions, and culture. All around, they're a pretty respectable organization, and they seem to do good things. So here's the proof they own Fiveish. If you go to the page who posted the original Fiveish videos, it links to a YouTube channel owned by Ura. And if you go to the website associated with this YouTube channel, it takes you to the official Ura website. Also, if you go to the Ura raffle that they hold, there's our boy on the front page. I think this confirms that this was made by a legit organization. So now that we know Fiveish was created by an actual Jewish group, that leaves us with another question. Are these people just completely oblivious to what's going on? Or did they do this on purpose to have a little bit of fun? Well, I doubt it's what you think it is. Let me explain. This video parents have taught me is the importance of building credit, and Extra's here to help with that. So sign up for Extra with the link in the description and start building your credit with a debit card. Yes, a debit card. You can also go to extra.com/ghostgum. You ever hear stories about somebody on a production team that might sneak a little Easter egg into the movie without anybody knowing? Well, I think instead of an Easter egg, they did this. My game theory on Fiveish is that it was masterminded by a Jewish person with a very good sense of humor. I mean, the subtle little self-aware jokes, the implications, the entire fucking premise. So I think what happened is the person who wrote these things in there was low on the Ura totem pole, and they pitched the idea to the higher ups and they were like, yeah, sure, sounds like a good idea. But then why is it a $5 bill? I mean, anyone can see that and say, this is a terrible idea. Well, if you go to the previously mentioned Ura raffle, which is $5 to enter, you see our guy putting it together yet. So they had this mascot for a raffle and said, let's make him into a children's show. And there you go. So was Fiveish done as a joke or to be serious? I honestly think it's a little bit of both. So is Fiveish offensive? Well, I don't know. Lucky for us, Fiveish has a social media presence where we can look at how Jewish people feel about Fiveish. Here are some real comments.
Stop this. This character is hurting Jewish people. Not a good representation. Please stop. Letters have been sent.
That looks a tad bit anti-Semitic, making American money look like Jewish. Just saying.
Fiveish is the most damaging thing the Orthodox have done to our people since the Cars for Kids jingle.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
So at the end of the day, is it our duty to get offended on behalf of people? Or if people are having a good laugh and it's not hurting anyone, who are we to judge? That being said, that does not change my completely blown away reaction when I discovered this fucking thing. So if anybody wants to take me up on that offer and create a cartoon or a children's show where Irish kids talk to a bottle of alcohol, you can have that. I am putting that in the public domain. I will not sue you for stealing that idea. Thank you.
Wave your lasso, swing it round, tap your boots,